Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Cat's Track. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing this with your friends. Today's episode is with our friend Brent Lakeman. Brent was born in Edmonton, and he loves it there. Me too. Love that city. Brent has been married to his amazing wife, Kim, for 29 years. They have 2 adult children that they're extremely proud of. Besides his loved ones, Brent is passionate about having a positive impact on society, helping prepare for the transitions that we will all need to make over the coming decades to respond to all kinds of issues. He also loves making connections from all different perspectives, whether it's industry, non-government organizations, different order of government, or simply people that have look at the world in different ways. Brent also loves getting outdoors with his wife and kids, whether it's running, biking, or canoeing. He loves it all. Brent, you'll find his full bio attached. Brent, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm glad you're here. I'm very much looking forward to hearing what you have to say. Are you ready for the questions?
I am.
Excellent. Okay, first one being, why are you doing what you're doing?
I guess I'm doing what I'm doing at Edmonton Global. We're an economic development organization representing Metropolitan Edmonton Region. So pulling together a lot of different communities, municipalities within the region to advance, opportunities to really grow our economy. So, I'm doing what I'm doing because I think there's a huge opportunity for the region, for the province, and for Canada, in the hydrogen economy that we're seeing a huge amount of interest in moving forward. So for me, it's all about making a difference. I've been fortunate throughout my career to really have some incredible opportunities, being very fortunate and maybe it's being in the right place at the right time, but working on really important issues for the province, for the city, for Canada, for the world. So, one of the first issues I was brought on board for when I started in government was working on the climate change issue. And this is way back when people weren't even talking about climate change in the very early 1990s. So really from day one, getting involved in things like the Rio Convention in 1992 to understand what does that mean for us? How do we respond as an economy, as an energy economy, to the issue of climate change, which at the time was it was very difficult to get anyone's attention. I'd always remark, oh, there's an article in the newspaper on climate change. Wow, that's the first article in 6 months. And now certainly you can't you open any newspaper you'll open up, there'll be a series of articles all on climate change, greenhouse gas reductions, energy technologies. So things have certainly changed, but I've been fortunate to get to work on these types of issues, whether it's been climate change policy, issues like carbon capture and storage, and then other technologies, things like artificial intelligence, pharmaceutical technology, all just of critical importance right now as we move forward with the economy. So I love being able to work on those issues and really bring organizations and individuals together that all may have different perspectives on it, whether you're a big industry leader or an environmental organization or a municipal government. There's all very different perspectives, but often there's some areas of alignment and really looking for those common topics or common issues where we can move forward with an agenda and not just debate an issue for 20 or 30 years, but to actually get on with it and get moving, taking some initial action. So again, I've been really fortunate to have some opportunities to work on those topics. Hydrogen is exactly one of those issues moving forward. We look at around the world, huge degree of interest in this technology. Hydrogen has been around for a long time, but right now, I think it's really a perfect storm of forces. The transition to the zero carbon economy, and hydrogen has a really important role to play around that. So we're at the center of it. We're here in the Edmonton Metropolitan Region. I think of us as ground zero for that hydrogen economy. We've been doing hydrogen in this space. We're doing things like carbon capture and storage. This is the time to make it happen. And again, it's really exciting now. We have an Edmonton Region hydrogen hub that's positioned as that central core group to really advance the hydrogen economy in Western Canada and build off of that great strength that we already have here, the talent that we have in the city of Edmonton, Metropolitan Edmonton Region, our industries, our innovators. So again, really exciting times.
I absolutely love what Edmonton's transitioned into over the last several years, and to start off with an AI hub and now this kind of hub, it's like, wow, okay, Calgary, we need to catch up a bit.
Well, I think everyone's really looking at what they can be doing to look at emerging technologies and align that to industries, whether it's using artificial intelligence in the energy sector, advanced manufacturing technologies. So I think it's great to see the level of activity going on across the province, whether it's in Edmonton or in Calgary or in our other communities around the province. I think again, really seeing a strong interest in beginning to make that transition, that diversification of the economy at the same time.
Agreed. It takes a while to build an ecosystem, though, and you guys have done a really good job of that. So bravo.
Thank you.
And your top three things that you'd like to share.
Well, I mean, just building on what I've said already, we have an incredible opportunity to be a global leader in this area. We've been a global leader in oil and gas production over the years. Hydrogen really allows us to pivot off of that expertise that we have. We need a very similar engineering skill set, technologist skill set that we see in these facilities, whether it's natural gas production, which can have a major role to play in that hydrogen economy as we make use of the natural gas resource. We're one of the cheapest producers of natural gas in the world, and we can use that resource and couple it with our expertise that we're developing in things like carbon capture and storage. We've got some of the world's largest projects right here in our own backyard. Projects like Shell Quest, that's now sequestered over 5 million tons of carbon dioxide. So this is one of the projects the whole world is watching. We now have the Alberta Carbon Trunk Line that's connecting our industrial heartland area to areas where we can make use of carbon dioxide. We've got even facilities in Calgary. I was involved in the Alberta Carbon Conversion Technology Center, and today they've actually announced the winners of the Carbon X Prize. One of those is a Canadian company that was doing some work right in the Calgary vicinity on using carbon dioxide in the concrete production phase. That's a company called Carbon Cure. So again, we're really the center of all this work on clean technology, on clean hydrogen production. We can be the lowest cost producer of hydrogen, clean hydrogen globally, compared to others that are now just getting into it. We can provide that hydrogen at scale, right away. We've got the CO2 storage capabilities. We've got the industries that have experience in producing hydrogen. This is where it can happen. And now it's really about knitting together the overall value chain so we can find companies, find organizations that can make use of the hydrogen that we can produce. Certainly we want to get it out for export, but we know we need to begin getting more experience using it. So that's really what the Edmonton Hydrogen Hub is also doing. How do we build out those demand tables for hydrogen, whether it's the heavy duty trucking sector, or the municipal fleets? We see municipalities looking at using hydrogen buses. They've already been using electric buses, but really seeing some strong advantages to hydrogen. As well, we've got projects in the Edmonton region looking at blending hydrogen into the natural gas distribution system. So ATCO's working on a 5% blending project with hydrogen and natural gas. And again, we're seeing a few jurisdictions around the world moving in this space, so we can really continue to be a leader here and show the rest of the world, here's what you can do with the clean hydrogen that we can produce, whether it's to heat our homes, whether it's to power heavy-duty vehicles, or the electrical generation stations as well that are also very keen to look at hydrogen as they convert from coal to natural gas and ultimately into hydrogen for producing power. So all sorts of things going on here. The Hydrogen Hub really wants to be that center where we can knit together, again, the stakeholders, the organizations, the value chain around hydrogen, and build out some of that infrastructure. And that will certainly be a challenge. It will require some deep investments. We're hearing government is very interested in being part of that conversation as well. So we can create a system today that will be very useful for the future and others can participate in. So again, the Hydrogen Hub, we'll be watching closely what governments are doing. Again, the federal budget is today, so we'll hear more about the types of investments the federal government will be making in the hydrogen transition, as well as the province and of course our municipalities within the Edmonton Metropolitan Region.
I absolutely love it. It's delightful to know that here we are again as a country leading where the rest of the world will look at the great good practices that we're putting in place now. So I'm delighted. Good to know.
Yeah, and I guess maybe the other point I want to leave is, this will require a huge degree of collaboration. And again, I'm very impressed with the degree of alignment we're seeing amongst all the stakeholders and moving forward in this space, knowing that we are on that pathway to low carbon, zero carbon economy. We need to be working closely between governments, provincially, federally, municipally. Again, we've got 15 municipalities within the Metropolitan Edmonton Region that all can play an important role in the hydrogen economy. So how do we bring those groups together? How do we bring Indigenous communities together? So it was remarkable that the work of our hydrogen hub is really linked to Enoch Cree Nation, and Chief Billy Moran is playing a leading role on the leadership group of the hydrogen hub. So we recognize, there has to be, some benefits for our communities, our Indigenous communities within the region, and across the entire country for that matter. So again, it's about pulling together those groups, collaborative approach. Industry, governments, organizations like Edmonton Global all working very closely together on a aligned vision of the future, so we can understand what investments are needed, what are those steps that are required. We've got the transition accelerator that's really providing that overall roadmap for the Edmonton Region hub that's going to be really critical to move forward, and we can all see what those steps are going to be over the next 10 years or so. But timing will be critical. There are early mover advantages here, and we want to be part of that. As we see other jurisdictions around the world moving towards hydrogen, we're seeing interest in Japan, we're seeing interest in Korea, seeing interest in China, and certainly our neighbors to the south in the United States. We put on a webinar just recently on the California hydrogen market, and some really incredible things beginning to happen in California as they look to move to low carbon fuels, and hydrogen will be an important part of that. And they are making investments, and they're going to need hydrogen, whether it's coming from other parts of the United States, California, but certainly key producers like the Alberta region, the Edmonton region, can play a major role in providing clean hydrogen to a jurisdiction like California. So we're watching all those very closely, but again, we need to have a game plan. We need to be able to move quickly, not debate this issue for 20 or 30 years, or even 5 years. We need to get on with it now and take some initial actions that will make a difference and position us as a jurisdiction that can play in this space. I think there's been some, critiques of Canada over the years that maybe we're not up to the game to get these large infrastructure projects going. But I think hydrogen provides an opportunity to show we're all in this. We all see hydrogen playing a critical role in that shift to a zero carbon economy, and we need to be all working together closely on it.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Brent. And your final thoughts with New Frontier, or obviously you're in the middle of New Frontier.
Yeah, it is. And I guess it's really that third point of, needing to move quickly. So we have all the pieces of the equation here. We have the infrastructure, we have the resources, we have the talent, we have the innovators, but we need that little bit of speed of action here. So I think that's going to be important for the hydrogen hub to be that catalyst to allow groups to come together and chart out that course. And again, it's not an area where we're just going to be talking about things. We're going to be doing things. So we've got an initial list of 25 actions or so. So let's begin doing that. We're looking at conversion projects, converting heavy duty vehicles into hydrogen or hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. We've got projects looking at the bus technologies as well that could be used within the Edmonton region for moving people around. We've got the blending projects as well. So let's begin to build out those, scale them up very quickly, learn quickly from those initial steps, and get that message out and start to get the involvement of a much broader set of organizations that have been part of our oil and gas supply chain, our value chain for decades. And they can all really benefit as well from the shift to the hydrogen economy, whether it's the materials we need, the different types of metals, fabrication that will be suitable for moving hydrogen or blends of hydrogen and natural gas, turbine manufacturers, engine manufacturers. I think there's space for all of those as well. So in addition to the oil and gas sector and some of those skill sets we can adapt into the hydrogen economy, we can also attract some new parts of the value chain into the Edmonton region as well, as we become a major center for building out that demand and building on our expertise that we've developed through our post-secondary institutions and other companies that are in the innovation space. And it's always worth highlighting, we look at how much talent we have in this region. And I was just doing a quick read. We have over 170,000 students that are in the Metropolitan Edmonton Region, going to, I believe it's over 7 post-secondary institutions that are located here. So that's a massive amount of talent. And they're all looking to have an important role in that energy transition, being part of exciting new initiatives. And I think hydrogen can really do that. And it can be a catalyst for this talent that we have here and keeping the talent in the province, in the region to contribute to what's going to be required to build out this infrastructure, build out these companies that can all be part of the future hydrogen economy. So really exciting times, lots of work to do to pull everyone together. But it's that point about we got to move quickly. Others are doing similar things. We're seeing Australia going after the hydrogen opportunities. We're seeing the United States. We're seeing even the Middle East and Saudi Arabia, certainly an oil and gas country, but also a country with significant renewable resources. They see themselves as pivoting towards hydrogen in the future. But again, we've got an opportunity to be an early mover here. We're recognized as, again, one of the lowest cost producers globally of clean hydrogen when you couple our natural gas resource with our carbon capture and storage resource. So that's a great place to start to build that momentum that we're going to need for the next decade or so.
I love it. Excellent. And you're right. I mean, the entire world is paying attention as to what all resources are going to be needed. So we're going to need it all.
We are, and we're seeing, an interest in companies making investments in this area. So again, maybe there's been a lack of investment over the past several years as some of the more traditional oil and gas companies are more challenged in securing that investment. But we're beginning to see, whether it's the large multinational corporations, the companies that have been in the hydrogen space, begin to make some major outlays. And we have some incentive programs in the province that will facilitate, attracting those types of companies to the province, to the region. The Alberta Petrochemical Incentive Program, one example that we have within the province that will provide an incentive of about 12% of capital costs for a new production facility. So we're watching those very closely. We're seeing what else is needed to make this happen. Are there other regulatory or policy barriers that governments can address? And again, I think there's a strong interest amongst all governments in knocking those barriers down as quickly as possible and going after this huge opportunity that we have.
So exciting. Excellent. Thank you so much, Brent. How about in closing? Any thoughts?
No, I mean, I think just back to that area of collaboration. I'm always been interested in that space over my entire career. And, let's find those positives. Find the things that can unite us and bring us together. And it's in the area of clean energy production in a way that, addresses some of the societal issues that we're challenged with as well. Working closely with Indigenous communities, working closely with all types of industries that they can play an important role here. It's not a silver bullet. We need all technologies when it comes to the clean energy and the energy transition. But again, this is one that I think really can certainly unite provinces around the country. We have opportunities in all parts of Canada to support the hydrogen economy. Quebec has interest in it, in producing the hydrogen that they can produce using their renewable electric resources. We have interest in the Sarnia area of Ontario that can also support the hydrogen economy. We have opportunities across Western Canada. So again, this is one, it's not an either or, it's an and. We see huge opportunities for the whole country to benefit from this. So really excited to be part of that and moving this forward.
Oh, now I'm excited for you, Brent. Congratulations on your newish post.
Thank you. It certainly builds off some things I've been doing in the past, and hopefully I can make a contribution towards this, as with other issues, to make a difference and have some impact, and provide some future opportunities for my children and for others' children.
I know you will. And thanks so much for joining us today, Brent. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Catherine. Much appreciated.
Everyone, Brent Lakeman, check out all the great work that they're doing. And hydrogen is certainly going to be a hot topic for a long time. See what's going on in that space. Thanks for joining us on Cast Track. We'll see you next time.